Alright, let's play some Flash, huh? Flash, for those not familiar, refers to the mechanic that lets you play creatures out at instant speed. So, technically speaking, everything in this deck is instant speed game one, except for the Bonecrusher Giants, and their stomps are technically instant speed. This card's basically just like good enough that it's worth playing even at sorcery speed. I'm trying a couple of cards out here from M21. I'm trying some Frantic Inventories over the Ops as a way to generate a little bit of card advantage. Obviously, this is more expensive than Op, coming in at 2 mana, but being able to draw 2, 3, 4 cards as we get further into the deck seems appealing. Trying out a couple copies of Unsubstantiate. This card felt okay in the Mono Blue Tempo deck we played the other day, so let's go ahead and pop on into some games here with this and see how it goes. Well, this hand's definitely a keep, but the lands are super awkward. I'm going to bottom the Unsubstantiate here. Brazen Borrower is a bounce spell. Bottom that. I'm not like super excited to find a 4th land, but I would really like to have an untapped land on 2 here ideally. For people that haven't been following historic content, likely Reclamation could be a ramp strategy though as well. Opponent also on a little bit of an awkward mana start here, looks like. Those darn greedy 2-color mana bases. Match 1, Game 1, Allura. I'm going live a little bit later this week. Doing slightly shorter streams, so rather than cutting all of the time off the top end, I decided to move back the start time a little bit. Morning, Artog. Kill this shark here. Keeping my threat in play is pretty important. Being able to pressure them while I disrupt them a little bit. The Wilderness Reclamation here, we're going to be in a bit of trouble. Yep. This resolving here means all of my soft counters are worse for the remainder of the game now, because they have double mana at the end of their turn. Work sucks, I know. She left me roses by the stairs. Surprises let me know she cares. Do 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 do. And if we would have just had a 5th land there, we could have Ember Cleave through that shark, but magic is currently happening on your screen, so we did not have a land.
If nothing else, I will protect the most.
Yeah, I think, I think there's a chance I'm going to change my plans and possibly start mixing in some standard, because historic's been much of the same. Like, we were playing historic because it was meaningfully different than standard, and it doesn't really feel like that's the case now. In fact, I think there's a strong argument you could make that this is worse to play against than Team of Reclamation and standard. Ben Smith, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We were talking about how often I do my sub polls earlier. I think I am going to send one out here soon. It's only been a month since the last one, but I feel like I need to pull both Runeterra support and what people's interest in standard is. I also feel like I probably want to ask the question, would people like the Hoots tournament to have a custom ban list? Because I feel like that's probably an idea. Hey, the real shard, thanks for 17 bucks. Welcome back. It's keeping me around. Because if I'm being honest, I don't really want to do commentary over a bunch of Nexus matches when we do a Hoots tournament. That doesn't sound fun for me. Sounds pretty unenjoyable, in fact. This is fine. It needs a third land, obviously, but we've got a temple to scry. Perfect. I like shocking in my second land here as opposed to shocking in my third land, because this gives them a little bit less information about what I could potentially have to play. Although, I think I actually just want to play this out, probably. I don't know, we were talking about this in the subs Discord server yesterday. It's not even just, like, the back half of 2019 Magic. Like, this is the first set of 2019. The play design team for Magic felt like it had reasonable goals, but, like, what Magic became post play design really just hasn't been fun. Morning, Sojourner. Alright, so I think the plan here is Petty Theft the Wilderness Reclamation. They'll replay it, I'll Petty Theft it again. In the time it takes you to post your question, hey, is this in your deck queue? You could just, like, open the deck queue and look. God helps those that help themselves. I think I'm gonna do this and then bounce their Reclamation again here. Like Mystic Disputed and hate myself. So like Mystic Dispute me, lose the game. We might not get another turn here. Let's make this quick, Tefri says. Nothing is quick about what's currently going on your side of the board, Tefri. Nothing. Guess we're countering this. I could double stomp to kill it too, but having the reach from double stomp seems appealing. Nah, I don't really follow community run events. How big was that tournament in terms of players participating, right, Dory?
I waited too long.
And how many people entered with Nexus of Fate? Is the second question. So they just have a casual, like, 12 looks at Nexus of Fate. Cultivate's kind of interesting with that free, because it, like, gives you extra cards. I believe they have enough mana to activate Azcanta and still cast a Nexus here, right? I'm going to concede if they find Nexus. They did not. Okay, so they're dead. And again, like, this really just kind of exemplifies, like, the incredible feel-bad experience that is. Oh, right. Do you want me to phase you out of time? I actually didn't want you to phase me out of time. That was not ideal. So, they're not dead. And I'll be surprised if we get another turn, because they get to scry, double activate Azcanta. Yep. Oh, right, they get 3 Azcanta activations. Right, forgot about that. We're actually just talking about that, Moon. Historic's been a rancid dumpster fire, and I think we might try and poke back into Standard. I agree. New Teferi seems fine. Big agree, New Teferi seems fine. Reclamation needs to go. Reclamation and Teferi should be banned. Reclamation and 3-mana Teferi should not be legal in any Magic Arena formats. The idea that Nissa needs to be banned in Historic is some hot nonsense. Yeah, I mean, if you like playing ramp deck, Standard's fucking great, man. Like 2020, year of the Magic ramp. The problem is if you want to do anything other than play ramp. I think 4-mana Teferi is a great Planeswalker design. We need more Planeswalkers like 4-mana Teferi. I think he's a great card. Great card, good design. So 7 months. McDoom, thanks for the 3 months. M Painter. Yeah, actually we were talking about that the other day. that, like, the big problem with Magic currently is it used to be that if you weren't enjoying an aspect of Magic, you could go play another format. And in 2019, like, 2020 Magic was so messed up. 2019 Magic was so messed up that, like, you can't escape these cards anywhere. You literally can't escape Uro in Magic the Gathering. Teferi and Uro are just, like, in every format. They're playable in every format because they're so pushed. Yeah, and, like, for the record, just to, like, make my position clear, if you're enjoying playing ramp decks, more power to you. You can and should enjoy them. I am firmly on the don't hate the player, hate the game designer bandwagon. It's not the player's responsibility to make Magic formats fun for their opponents. It is Wizards of the Coast's responsibility to make Magic formats fun. And when Magic formats fail to be fun, it is a failure on Wizards' part, not on the part of the people who enjoy playing the ramp deck. If you have a deck that you like, that you love playing, you should not let anybody make you feel bad about that. Yeah, viable's a loose term. And, like, what you're saying there and what I'm about to say is actually a fantastic example of why Wizards of the Coast hides matchup data. And that is, you say these decks are pretty diverse and viable, and I'll say to you, well, you don't actually know that a lot of those decks could be bad, but we just don't have the information to show that they're bad. Formats like Modern especially tend to have a lot of people who play decks that are bad just because they like playing them, and Magic has enough variance that they'll still occasionally win some games and matches. Yeah, and MTG Top 8 includes Magic Online League data, right? So, like, it's intentionally artificially diversified. Yeah, I agree. In fact, this is something I talked about with Runeterra the other day. One of the big failures, in my opinion, from Wizards of the Coast is it seems like the only metric that they are willing to make bans or adjust their format on is win rate. Whereas there should be a lot more, in my opinion, that goes into deciding what decks and cards are legal other than win rate. Like, play experience should be paramount when making decisions. And, like, if you have decks that, like, players feel bad when they beat them, you failed as a game designer, in my opinion. If your players are winning games of Magic and they walk away from a match that they've won and they go, man, that sucked, like, what are you doing? What have you designed? What did you do? And it's like here, right? Like, this is a good example, right? Like, even if I win this matchup that we're currently playing, it's like, well, okay, is my deck playable because I won this matchup? Or, like, are they... You may return. I don't think I want to bounce their thing that makes the food. Or, like, was it playable because my opponent's playing a blue-green brew, right? Although I suppose they could just be playing Nissas and Ugins and Ulamogs. I mean, cards like a Boreal Grazer and Growth Spiral are, like, at the fundamental basis of, like, what the issues are with cards like that. Yeah, could be trying to leverage Kinian. So we didn't see any payoffs there for our opponent, but probably safe to assume they have some, huh? Syncopate's pretty mediocre against a ramp deck. Stroke sounds good. Aether Gust potentially fine. The fact that they're likely playing Ugin as a payoff potentially makes Aether Gust worse. Flame Sweep honestly might be worth considering. They have a lot of mana creatures. All right, yeah, let's do it. Please don't play a Paradise Druid. Please don't play a Paradise Druid. That is the one thing, opponent, the one thing I explicitly asked you not to do was that. Magic's fun. I really enjoy it as a game. It's a high player agency, low variance game. I think I keep that there. I do want to hit more land drops with this hand, but I have Frantic Inventory to cantrip. Alright, one Flame Sweep, please. Tradesies. It's for a year and a half, Scissor. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Drive by Twitch Prime. Thanks for the 2.5 years, Carmenova. So they have 7 mana right now. Still 3. Ulamog is a number we're looking to avoid here. Softastic. Thanks to the Brandy Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for keeping me around. Hydrate Crisis is very good. Oh, they do have a Garenberg. Good catch. Are they dead? They're going to 14. This is 8, 11. Not quite. Or 13. Sorry. They cast it for 6 total, not X to 6. I think you were right if I timed you out. I think you're right. I stroked that, stomp them, cleave. Yeah, you're right. Oh. Deal. Mr. Lifeguard's name checks out. Sounds about right. Oh! Oh, so now instead of a black screen at the end of the matches, we get a little spinny waiting for server. They said they fixed the black screen issue. Now it's not just a black screen, it's a waiting for server spinning screen. Ooh. Ooh. Rebel Lawyer, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Baby steps, chap. Baby steps. Yeah, people in chat, you're right. You're right. You like having the spinny screen there is better than just like wondering if your client is hung. Yeah, the RTX voice gets a little obnoxious when I get pitchy. Need to take some time and play with the settings on that at some point. Stop this from taking more of her stiff. Stop stealing my stiff. Alright, in for killing Scavenging Goose. How many games do we play with this deck? This is match 3? Yeah, match 3. Played against Nexus, played against Ramp, playing against Girl. If opponent doesn't have a big play this turn, getting to curve Big Shark into Dream Eater should lock the game up. Suppose they could peel a Cleave. Cleave would not be stellar for the home team. Oh, this can counter artifacts, doesn't it? Not quite yet, though. To give you spoilers on how the Nexus match went, I considered turning off the stream after we finished it, but I decided against it. We're gonna hit for 4 here. Really? They're not offering the trade at the Pelt Collector? Deal. Hey, Not Famous. Thanks for 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Haley and Mom are both doing really well. I don't think I block here because they have castle lined up and ready to go. Go ahead and jump the shark here. With Dream Eater and Brineborn Cutthroat on defense next turn, I want to get set up to kill them in 2 turns, I think, here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 creatures in graveyards for the Scavenging Ooze. We are dead to an Embercleave here. So I'm going to go block Burning Tree with Cutthroat, block Elf with Dream Eater, and then if they sword their unblocked Elf, they do exactly 4. Alright, step 1, didn't die to cleave. As is often the case with a card like Embercleave, the optimal play is cross your fingers and hope they don't have it, and if they don't, you usually win. Redcaps, Aether Gust, Lava Coils in here. I think we want to trim some of our cards that don't play to the board, like our counter spells. Does Mard Unite still competitive standard? I don't know. I've not played any standard. We trim the frantic inventories. Actually, I probably don't have time to do that. We'll leave a couple of these because I can counter 3 drops on the draw. Mr. Himmy, thanks for the 3rd of the year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We're just looking for lands here. The Izzet sleeve is great, to be fair. Smoking even. Shaka, Robber of the Rich in response here. Because Pelt Collector collects pelts when things die as well. If our lanes have been untapped this game, we'd be in a really good spot. The fact that we're on the draw and playing a bunch of tapped lands has been rough, though. Getting to Syncopate a Questerson here is real good, though. Let's see if they have the post-Syncopate land to shame or not. Doesn't appear to be the case. Okay. Slowly bleeding out here. Embercleave really costing us here, not being a card that impacts the board. Yeah, I think you're right that Flame Sweep's worth considering. They have Scavenging Ooze and they have, what's it called? The 2/2 Steal My Crap guy. Let's try the sweeps. Thanks for 24 months, Bodo. Welcome back. Hey, I think I'm in for all the shocks in the world. Get to stomp something here on 2, and then untap and play Bonecrusher Giant. Empty board going into their third turn seems really good for the home team. Great, let the beatdowns commence. Love to see it, chat. We've got a tempo game playing here. Third time's the charm, right? Just put a cap in that one, shall we? GG. How does the splash blue-white for a Teferi against our tempo deck? It's a good line. The expensive cards at our top end have felt bad. I'm gonna reconfigure this a little bit. Kind of want to try a Sea-Dasher build. Like, what if we did something like this? I think I'm okay with 26 lands still. Yeah, Unsubstantiate's been super reasonable. This is about what our curve looks like. Let's try Sailors and Octopus for a couple of matches. See how that goes. Well, the Jeskai Luris deck isn't really a disruptive deck. The Jeskai Luris deck is a Protect the Queen style deck that's looking to stick a threat and then play cards that keep that threat safe from removal. Whereas this is a deck that's looking to kill my opponent's stuff and play counter spells that aren't just explicitly there to protect my creatures so much as they're also there to disrupt my opponent's game plan. Hey, this is a mulligan, probably. Yes, much better. For people in chat that might have just gotten tagged by a not complimentary timeout, please remember to make useful, constructive card recommendations when you want to suggest changes to a deck that we're playing. What problem does our deck have? How is that problem solved by the cards you're recommending? Etc., etc. Bonecrusher Giant being a good clean 2-for-1 there, which is nice. This deck definitely wants Snapcaster Mage. Big agree. 1000% would like Snapcaster Mage. Well, I will, however, time someone out for unironically suggesting mission briefing after I sarcastically say that we would like Snapcaster Mage. Have a little respect for the game. Come on now. Don't sully Snapcaster Mage's name by suggesting mission briefing is comparable. If you think mission briefing is comparable to Snapcaster Mage, you don't understand what makes Snapcaster Mage good. Hint, it's not just the fact that it flashes back a spell. Alright, so I definitely want Lava Coil as extra removal here. Mystic Dispute against their blue-red deck sounds great. I don't know enough of their deck to know if Flame Sweep is good. It kills Terramander before it farts, and it kills their 2/2, but I don't know like what the rest of the threat base looks like. I don't know if they necessarily have enough red cards to make Aether Gust or Redcap Melee good enough. I think I'm gonna not bring those in for the time being. How about splashing green for Wilderness Reclamation and splashing a timeout for your boy here? God bless. God bless us, everyone. See, it's fine. A little bit land heavy, but we can cycle this Forgotten Cave, which is nice. I'm just going to go ahead and kill Scary Terry before they can untap and protect him. If they have a 2/2, if they have a Robin Hood here, we're going to be a little bit sad that I burned my shock like I did, but with them having nothing, pretty happy with my play. This is a good chance to get countered or killed, but I'm also just like willing to work through some of their 1-for-1s here. Just like use my mana for the turn. Something's gonna get shocked at some point. Getting cards out of my hand. We're gonna start using Castle of Interest here in a little bit, which is nice. My body is ready to get Spell Pierced or Mystic Disputed here. Ad nauseum, thank you for the 29 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Need to draw out Lava Coil ASAP. Crackling Drake here means that I will definitely be bringing in my Redcap Melees next game. Drake plus Robin Hood's enough reason to bring those in. Feels bad, man. Spent 2 cards killing their card that drew a card. Not a good exchange for us. Here we have learning in real time why Voracious Grape Shark is unplayable. Yeah, definitely in for Aether Gust and Redcap Melee here post-board. Trim the 5-drops. My curve's kind of low. How greedy it is to cut a land. Probably pretty greedy. I'm gonna do it anyways. So 17 Buds Party Bus, welcome back. Go ahead and fetch now. Get my auto pass value in. Again, just gonna get my stomp in while the stomping is good and they're tapped out. is my 4-3. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Deal Reno. Moments before the accident. Yeah, I'm hoping the Sailors could drag us across the finish line. They need to generate some cards here, which is nice. Definitely anyone's game at the moment. We're a little bit ahead, but opponent is not out of reach for the opponent by any means. We got another Crackling Drake here, for instance. Okay. Stomp. It's stomping time. Alright, now we're super far ahead. Got it good. Do I just deploy another Bonecrusher Giant here? I think the answer is yes. Obviously, we are the superior blue-red deck. Kind of feel like I want to continue to pull the curve down. And if I pull the curve down, I can probably afford to trim some lands. I pulled, I pulled the double red cards out of the deck too, so it's very possible I could afford to trim some red sources. This is 24 lands. I just put the ops back in. Fills the curve pretty nicely. Aren't any flash idiots I'm missing, right? I guess we could theoretically play Tricky Dick. He's okay. I don't know. I kind of just don't mind ops, just like more copies of our good cards. Yeah, opt helps us cut lands and not really get punished for it as much, which is nice. This is 12, 14 red, which is probably reasonable. Why on earth would I want Trickster in my sideboard? What problem is that solving when we're boarding it in? When is boarding in Trickster better than just having removal spells? The problem with a card like Rewind is the same problem with a card like Great Shark. Mystic Disputes and Spell Pierce and things like that make that card really embarrassing. The matches where you want counter spells, Rewind gets blown out by a lot of cards people are playing anyways. Trading your 4 mana play for their 1 mana play generally means you lose the game on the spot. What counterspell decks? Like, again, be constructive and specific. The specific's really important. Like, what are the counterspell decks in this format that you think I need Shark Typhoon against? And why is Shark Typhoon better than just having Mystic Disputes against a counterspell deck? Where Mystic Dispute's more flexible in other places. Cycle Turtle is very sweet. You're not wrong. Legion's in that one. Don't want to lose our other boy here in hand. So do I intervention this? I could also just, like, Cutthroat, bounce it, and then smack them, which I think is what I want to do. And then if they tap out for it again next turn, I could intervention it then and continue applying pressure. Like, they get to trigger this again, but I have 8 power in play, which is appealing. A lot of points. Thanks for ringing out, lawyer. So if they tap out here for Crisis again, Thassa's Intervention plus Shock will be lethal. Or open a fade like Ritual of Soot plus Counterspell. Hey, thanks for the sub, Gifty Niv. Let's not make casual jokes about serious things like lynching in my channel, thanks. Successfully gotten under the Uro and the Hydrate Crisis, not bad. Not bad. We played against Nexus once, and we lost, and it was super miserable. So, do it. Take that piece of information and do with it what you will. I don't really know what I want to board in here. Like, Disdainful Stroke misses their removal spells. Aether Gust might be okay, because they have removal spells like Maelstrom Pulse. My Shocks and Bonecrusher Giant seem fine, because they're a Landware Elf deck. I think I might just hit Submit and try and see a little bit more of what they're doing. I'm gonna bottom that. Looking for just hit our lands consistently here. Yeah, Aether Gust could be okay. It's a Growth Spiral turn, most likely. Here's a question. If they Growth Spiral, do I just Syncopate them? I'm gonna Syncopate that. I think prioritizing using my Syncopates early is important, especially when they're going to be ramping up, because this card's going to draw dead relatively quickly. Once they start developing their mana fully. It's a rather shocking turn of events. Hey, congrats them again. How many Nexus decks did you play in the Swiss of that tournament? Someone else mentioned that someone finished with that archetype. What, You played against Nexus twice and you lost twice and you beat a bunch of Grawl. That sounds right. I think that deck's very good at beating Grawl. The appeal to the Yarak Field deck is being good in the creature-based matchups with its interaction. Okay, just do this to have a threat in play to try and kill them before they draw out of their flood. They're eventually going to find a Nissa or an Ugin or a Hydroid Crisis and bury us. Our goal is to try and end the game before that happens. Just kind of clench a little bit and hope for the best. Are you dead? Illicet, thank you for the tier 2, and I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Some free gold in the daily deals. Haven't played in a while. Our companion's a thing. Anybody plays after the change to them. Some mid-range and control decks still play them, but like most of the decisions Wizards of the Coast makes in 2019 and 2020, the companion change largely just hurt aggressive decks. Took companions out of the fun decks and left your rated standard. That is largely what feels like happened, yeah. Get the attack with Soul Ward, and I'm trading with Spectral Sailor. That's kind of a neat thought, Lawcopter. Give the option to pay life to put a companion into your hand. We'll flash this in, and we'll put it over the top, so that way it survives. I think I trade with Healer's Hawk here. I actually don't even have to trade too. I can just put this over the top like I did with the other one and eat it. Let's do that actually. Means I don't get to counterspell whatever their follow-up is here, but they've been bricking, so people would always pay life. I mean, it depends on the matchup. You also wouldn't have to have it be 3 life, right? Like, that's something you could experiment with. Go ahead. Opponent stumbled long enough here. This is a matchup where we just want our removal. Flame Sweep seems great here as well. I think we want to trim our counter spells so we just have more cards that play to the board. I'm gonna mulligan this. Like, it's got lands and spells, but doesn't have anything that play to the board early. This hand, on the other hand, is very good. I'm gonna bottom the Temple of Epiphany here, so we can just curve out with removal. No turn 1 play. Thanks for being reasonable, save in. The first hand we mulligan, suddenly wishing that we had it. He's gonna stomp their face here and hope to draw a land so we can play Bonecrusher Giant. Feels Magic Man. I did bottom a land, I guess, but I think it was right at the time. So they play Ranger of Eos, just bury us in card advantage. Castle plus Heliod is kind of hard to beat. Maybe I was supposed to keep the Sailor because it was an evasive threat to put Sea-Dasher on. No greater treasure than quiet times with friends.
Pride grows stronger.
Okay.
We must regroup.
Slow and steady. I deploy this as just a second threat, since they have castle. I think I'm gonna stomp this now before it blocks and deploy another Bonecrusher. There must be an issue with Stream Decker. Yeah, deck list on my site appears to be missing 2 cards. I'll have to look at it later. Yeah, it definitely feels like one of those days where it's like, well, the decks felt good so far, but like, in the back of my mind, it's like, well, we've played against 0 Tefris, and we've only played against Reclamation 1, so like, that's almost assuredly why it's felt good, right? Which honestly, like, I don't know, experiencing this set today and some of the last few days, maybe we do just house ban things for the Hooglandia Opens moving forward. Just have them be more entertaining events. think I'm gonna send out a sub survey this evening. That's gonna ask about. I'm gonna send out a sub survey asking about standard Runeterra and Hoaglandia opens with house ban lists. I think it's the plan. Yeah, even with double Burning Tree, they're gonna be a little bit too far gone here. They're gonna double block and we'll blow them out with shock and the game will be over. Learn agrees. Want Flame Sweep in this matchup? I think that I do. I think Syncopate's probably fine on the draw. We played any Gruul in the new format. Like, me personally playing Gruul? No. I don't find the Gruul deck particularly interesting to play a lot of the time. The gameplay it has tends to be pretty dry. So about this Flame Sweep. Yo, listen up, here's a story. Almost feel bad, kind of feel like a bully. Kind of feel like a bully. So, I feel a little bit bad. They probably aren't still here. But I timed someone out earlier for making the statement, Jeff, everything but 6 cards in this deck are standard legal. Why are you playing it in historic and not just playing it in standard? Just like, turn these lands into something, these Sulfur Falls into something else, turn these into something else. And the answer is like pretty simple. The formats that you are playing are more than just the cards that are legal in them. It's also the metagame in which you're playing them in. And I think a deck like this, for example, has better tools to keep up with Gruul aggro than it does, for instance, to keep up with Cat Oven. It would be a good direct comparison. Our adventure creatures are much worse against things like Oven. Also, having something Magic players often dramatically underestimate is having good mana is a big upgrade. Like, your aggressive deck having untapped lands is like really important in aggro. Like, I know these are 4 of the only 6 cards that aren't legal in standard, but like they're a big deal for an aggressive deck. Like having good mana that lets you play your spells on curve and not have a bunch of tapped lands is like really, really valuable. I feel like I kind of like where we ended up at. Maybe Thassa's intervention doesn't quite make sense in our build with a slightly lower curve. Like, maybe this is better as, like, Ionize another Syncopate, perhaps. But, like, the core idea of just being a little bit lower to the ground and, like, having a little bit of reach and extra threats felt pretty reasonable. The Nexus matchup felt bad / hard, but, you know, I don't, like, we've got some tools in here. I think if you run good there, you could probably win that matchup on occasion sometimes, but Nexus just feels bad to play against so most of the time. I don't really know what to say other than that. Yeah, but especially aggressive decks. Like, the aggressive decks get markedly better in Historic when they have better mana. Alright, what are we doing? We got a second Historic deck we're going to get to today. Speaking of aggressive decks, we're going to try and punk people out. I think this is the best aggro combo deck left in Historic here with some Storm Herald. So I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get set up and flipped over. When we get back, we're going to kick the tires on Jund Storm Herald and see if it still feels like this can compete in the format. Be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.